Hi, everybody. I'm Romy.
I'm Mark.
So tonight I have a couple of things that I want to talk about, but I'm hoping that it'll all kind of tie in together. But let's start off with a little oil tip. Who has a favorite oil tip you want to talk about?
Can I talk?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Iris here. I am diffusing lime a lot because part of my problem with my skin sensitivity, I'm discovering comes from someone further down the line on my father's side. And so lime is what is supposed to help that. And it is.
Wow.
It has cleared up my hand. There were a lot of marks like that. And this is because I use too many oils on my skin. I'm one of the 0.006% that have skin sensitivities, but now it's just this one spot on my hand. And yesterday it was 7 or 8 different spots.
Wow, awesome.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yes. So lime is very good.
Thank you.
Maybe you need to put it in a spray bottle and just spray it all over you.
Oh my gosh.
I can't, Mark. I diffuse it.
Just give it a shot once.
So I have one. So everybody knows that helichrysum is good for bleeding, to help with bleeding. But do you know that geranium is as well? So actually, when we first started, Mark had his heart attack, and they had put him on some blood thinners and stuff, and so he ended up with a bloody nose, and it just was a long time to stop. I was actually getting ready to see if we needed to take him in, and in the book it said helichrysum. Well, I just started. I didn't have helichrysum, and I looked for an alternative, and it said geranium. And it stopped it immediately. And so for me, in the dry climate, when I alternate back and forth with different areas, I have issues with bloody noses. And I use the geranium, and it stops it like right now. I just put it on the bridge of my nose and put it on a Kleenex, and just on the inside, don't shoot it up into your brain, but it just it stops it really quick. So geranium's a nice oil to have in your first aid kit if you don't have helichrysum. So
the worst part is you have to smell the geranium.
Yeah. Some people like the smell. I'm not a huge fan of it. And if you didn't know, geranium is also classified as the poor man's rose oil. So it's got some good properties that are similar to what you would use rose for. So that's that. So I have one kind of line of business that I'd like to talk about first before we move into the topic, and that's kind of the hierarchy of our business and our leadership role in that hierarchy. So I've talked about it on and off over the years, and so I thought it would be good just to touch on that. So I believe firmly in the hierarchy of how the leadership roles go for our team. So for my team, and this is how I do it. That doesn't mean that everyone should do it that way. It's just how I do it. So when we talk about how we communicate with our team, the good stuff always goes down and the bad stuff always goes up. So my point for that is, as far as, like, say you have a bad day, or you're having difficulty with figuring out what to do with strategizing with, different things on your team or stuff like that. that does not belong, that conversation does not belong with the people on that are on your team. That conversation belongs with your leader or someone that is somebody that you trust, whether, you know, because not everyone has an active leader that they're working with, an accountability partner, a mentor, something like that. So what I have heard through conversations over the years is, so say somebody has an issue with customer service or an oil or something like that, and you have a team member that contacts you and starts complaining. Our job in that situation is to diffuse that situation and help them to see the good side of that, rather than start to commiserate with them. Never commiserate with a complaint. Always help them to see the solution in that. And if there is something that you need to help with that, then you go above. Like, there's times where you may agree 100%, boy, this just really stinks, and you know, you're totally on board with that. Never jump on board and validate that part of it. You always want to show them the good side of it, and then go gripe to your leader, not your team. Does that make sense? The other part is when it comes to strategizing for business and different things like that. So there's a propriety. You always want to. We are not elevated above anybody. We are not better than or anything like that. However, there is a place of integrity and credibility when it comes to our position as a leader. We always want to make sure that we're positioned as a leader that has authority that can help. And it's not that hammer down authority. It's the authority of trust. And so we always want to make sure that we are in that position of trust. And so we want to make sure that the people on our team feel safe to come and talk to us when it comes to strategizing and business and questions and all of that. So when we put ourselves in a position of, let's just put it this way. If you're strategizing about business, that needs to be done with your leader, your mentor, your accountability, that person, not the people that you have enrolled per se. Does that make sense? I think I'm kind of fumbling that up. It's just, I think I messed it up. Yeah. We just want to make the lines clear. What makes it hard is that when we bring people onto the team, we're bringing on the people that we love, our friends. We learn to love the people that we bring onto our team, and then it becomes, sometimes if we're not careful in there, we have some gray areas, and it makes it difficult. And so, yes, we are friends, we are real, we love each other, but there is a fine line when it comes to business dealings, that there is that hierarchy in there. So it needs to just we need to just kind of keep it clear and clean. So we keep that credibility as a leader, as an influencer, and as someone that can lead the team, not put us into a level where people will doubt whether we know what we're doing. Make sense? If you have questions about that, if you disagree with that or anything else like that, please feel free to message me. I have no problem talking about it. I just don't want to keep going on that because I totally messed that thing up, I think. Okay, what I want to talk about is the seasons in our business a little bit, and I also want to touch on the strength finder, the Gallup strengths. So in business, we have 3 seasons. January to May is the sowing season. That's the enrollments. in the summertime, that's preparing, nurturing, and that's the nurturing phase. And in September to December, that's the harvest phase. So we are in the sowing phase. So the reason that I had you guys put down like some of the things that you like to do naturally, what you love to do, is that is part of the sowing process. So when we're sowing, we're in that attraction, the attraction phase, we're in the blessing phase, we're in the, building those relationships, in all of that, really just being on purpose about blessing people and pulling people into our sphere of influence. So the thing that brought this to mind is, I'm sure you guys, I hope you guys saw the picture that Mark posted this weekend about the V8 buggy that I rode in. If you didn't see that, that was something that was super cool for me. But I get analogies and little pictures in my head with all different kinds of situations that I'm in. So how that started is that we were on a desert poker run, and we happened upon these two guys that had the two V8 buggies, and the guy needed a bungee cord because his accelerator was not working right. It was sticking or something. Anyway, he needed a bungee cord for that. Well, Mark has everything. So Mark gave him a bungee cord, and they were teasing back and forth about paying large amounts of money for a cheap little bungee cord. And then Mark comes up with the idea, well, my wife has always wanted to ride in a V8 buggy, so that can be payment for that bungee cord. And so what made me think about this is that this guy and his V8 buggy, that's something that he does. That's his recreation. He does it with his family. It's second nature. He just gets out there and he just rocks and rolls. And by agreeing to give me a ride with just his natural way of doing life and fun, I ended up being able to do something that was like one of the coolest things ever, something that I've wanted to do for a long time. It was exhilarating. It was just super, super cool. And so the sewing part that I wanted to talk about is that I think sometimes we get wrapped up in and make things too complicated when we are thinking about and trying to draw people to us. If we focus on the things that we love, the things that we do naturally, the things that we do every day, and just really pay attention to that and use what we love to be able to bless people naturally, then it makes it easier to be able to bless people. And we get to sow into somebody's life that way. That guy sowed into my life like it was incredible. Don't you think?
Well, I was actually the sower in this deal.
Yeah, both of them. So it was, and it may seem like something, not everybody's going to think that that's cool, but that was very, very cool for me. It was super cool. So I ended up with somebody that loves me and knows what will bless me, and somebody else that just did what they do naturally, and I got blessed. And so we get to do that if we pay attention to just live authentically, then we can bless people naturally and very easily. And that's where the sowing aspect comes in. We reap what we sow. And I believe in the attraction marketing wholeheartedly. It really is to, just do life in a way that will make people curious and want what we have. And what we have as individuals isn't going to resonate with every single person, but it's going to resonate with the person that we are supposed to be attracting to us, the ones that we are supposed to be, that we are set up to bless in that way. Comments on that? Questions? Feedback? Does everybody know what feedback is?
Does anybody know?
Well, a long time ago, I had the description of feedback described to me. I was like 15 years old. It's like when somebody's got egg on their face, you're the one that says, you know, you got a little bit of egg right there. And so it's constructive feedback. Speak now or forever hold your peace. So, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is the strength finder. So if you went to leadership, we're not going to go into anything leadership wise, but I do want to talk about the strength finders with the Gallup polls because it's something that doTERRA has been talking about. It's something that I think is going to be super beneficial for people. And so it's something that I want to encourage all of you, if you haven't done the strength finders test, to please do that and share it. You know, you can share it. I'd love to know what your top 5 are. That would be awesome. I think it will be very beneficial for us to know each other's top 5s, because then we have a better opportunity to know best how to serve each other. So I took the strength finder test when I very first started doTERRA. And I went back and I found what the test was. And what's interesting is I actually read in a group the other day. It wasn't even a doTERRA group. They were talking about the personality traits and the strengths and stuff like that. And the lady said she took her test years ago and she retook her test and got the same results. So it is a matter of, these are our strengths. It's up to us to recognize what those strengths are and to just build on them and utilize them and not get hung up on a strength that isn't ours. Everybody does life and does business differently. So I talked to a leader today and her strengths were completely opposite of mine. It actually took me like 2 or 3 times to even read her description because it was so different than mine. My brain just froze. But what's cool about it is that it will just really equip us even more so to be able to help us to become even more cohesive as a team and to be able to make change even more. So I was just going to share with you what my number one was, and that was a developer. So the description of that is people who are especially talented in the developer theme recognize and cultivate the potential in others. They spot the signs of each small improvement and derive satisfaction from these improvements. So that was my number 1 strength. What I found interesting as I was going through my notes, and this is from 2014, I go through and write down declarations periodically. So my declaration in 2014 was, I declare I am a builder of people. I will look for opportunities to encourage others to bring out the best in them and to help them accomplish their dreams. I will speak words of faith and victory, affirming them, approving them, letting them know they are valued. I will call out their seeds of greatness, helping them to rise higher and become all that God created them to be. What I found interesting about that is that I took the strength finder test and it stayed in my email and I never did anything with the results. But naturally through the process of the personal development and everything that I was doing, I just naturally gravitated to that strength, not even realizing what it was. And so I think by bringing awareness to our strengths, it will just help us even more so to serve the people that we are needing to serve and wanting to serve. Comments on that?
Joanna was asking about the book and the quote.
Oh.
Romy, I have just taken the free one. I haven't paid for one, but I was really interested to know that for me, quality time is number 1. And that is really true. I hadn't even really thought about it, but that's what I like to do with others, is to spend quality time, even if it isn't a lot of time.
Yeah.
But so if any of you need some quality time, look me up.
Who else has taken the Strength Finder test? Do you want to tell us your number one?
Yeah, mine is harmonizing, something like that. We're gonna try to look into it and really figure it out. The top 5 at least. His is completely different than mine.
Yeah. My number one was responsibility.
Nice.
So I just think it's really cool just to focus on just that focus on your strengths and not your weaknesses, and that I don't have to develop a very specific strength to do something well. That I have strengths that allow me to do it my way, in the way that I was designed to do it, and that I don't have to fight against my nature to develop a right way to do something. There's no right way, so
Right.
that's encouraging.
Yeah, I agree. I listened to something a long time ago, and it was talking just about that, is that sometimes we get so caught up in trying to get better at something that we're not natural at, that it isn't really one of our top strengths. And we spend so much time beating ourselves up for not being good at that, and forget about the strengths that we do have, and really build on those strengths and take advantage of those strengths and move forward in that way. So that was good. Thanks, Neil.
Amanda, have you taken it?
Yeah, we took it down at conference, or the leadership conference, and my number one is activator.
Nice.
I see things that need to get done, and then I do them. Doesn't win me a lot of friends some of the times when you kind of grab the bull by the horns, but I'm a mover. I don't like to wait around. Sometimes activators can be a little impatient. So yeah, that's me.
Nice.
Did Mike go with you?
Mike didn't, but Mike's a businessman, and he's on, so he could. Somebody had to hold down the fort with 7 kids, but he's taken it, and I'm sure he could jump in here with his number one.
Yeah, I got to stay home in Nebraska while she was down on the beach and doing all the fun things in Florida.
Yeah.
So next year, I joked around that we're going to go to Long Beach, just me and Michael Owens. We're going to head out to Long Beach together. But
Cool.
my number one strength is ideation, and a lot of mine are actually future oriented, but ideation is my top one. So I get really excited about new ideas, new ways of doing things, finding connections between things, or seeing concepts in a way that they come together that maybe not everybody sees them that way. So that was my top one.
Awesome.
Cool.
Very cool.
Kenzie, have you taken the test? Yeah, but you're just so well-rounded. You can't have just one top one. You like Superwoman would be. Is that kid riding a bike yet?
Just about.
Okay.
About. Yeah, I've taken the test. There's actually an app. If you guys have the app, it's fun because you can see your top 5 and take a screenshot. We should make like a post and have everyone screenshot their top 5.
Yeah.
Good idea. Take care of that, will you?
Yeah, I like that.
Speaking of, my number one is command.
Really?
Command.
I totally see that.
Taking command?
Just command.
Oh.
So one of the things that I like about using the Gallup page is that it doesn't just give you your strengths, it also gives you an opportunity to get in there and help you to figure out the best way to utilize your strengths. And then it also gives you the opportunity to know how to help other people with different strengths. One of the other things that I really liked in there it talks about there's 4 different themes. I think it's the 4. And it really talks about, as in business, that it really is good to be able to have one of every one of those themes on your team, whether it's business or, you know, life team or whatever. It is good to have those strengths be diversified with the people that you're dealing with. So this is not stuff that I heard from leadership. I have no idea if you guys talked about this, because I know it's supposed to be like hush hush and quiet until next week. So just in case you're wondering, I did not get any of this from leadership. No one told me.
Nobody's
I don't know what you talked about.
Nobody's broken the gag order.
So it's just something that I think it's fascinating. So Joanna, what's yours?
I didn't actually take it. My code was broken and I ended up leaving before I could get it. But I did just buy the book, so I'm excited to get my code and take it. But I do want to say that, okay, without giving stuff away, when they were describing some of the different strengths, I was like, oh, that's that person on my team. Oh, that's that person on my team. Oh, that's Romy. Oh, that's this person. And I was like, it was amazing to kind of see the different strengths and styles of your leaders, because like you said, then you can work with that instead of trying to mold them into what you think they should be, or focus on, you know, building up other parts. So it was really, really cool. And I love that, like just kind of going with the flow instead of working against it or being frustrated because they might not be, their strength might not be your strength and vice versa. So I love that. And I'm super excited to read the book to really fully understand how to incorporate that more into my team, and then to train leaders to lead their leaders that way as well.
Right. I also think that by becoming aware of the strength of others, that it could help to diminish that spirit of comparison. Because we are, you know, when you think about when we start comparing ourselves to other people, well, we all have different strengths. We are different. But when we start comparing, we're all of a sudden putting ourselves in the same fishbowl, expecting us all to be swimming the same way. And it just doesn't work that way. So I think it will be a great tool to just bring about awareness, and, you know, maybe it'll make some of the other yuckies kind of go away, and we'll be able to just step in to doing business in the way that it's meant to be, and that's just doing what we love, serving people and having fun at it. So that's the main thing. So
I love that. And I love being able to just like accept that, okay, well, this is who I am and these are my strengths and these other things are not my strengths, but that doesn't mean that I'm necessarily have to be lacking in that, because I can find other people whose strengths are those things and they can help me and I can help them with my strengths. So I love that collaboration piece. So being able to identify people, you know, cross team, whatever, on your team that have the different strengths, and working with them and seeing like, okay, well, I'm really good at vision boarding and you're really good at organization. So let's trade. I'll teach your team how to do vision board. You teach my team how to time manage or something like that. Like, it's really eye-opening.
I agree. And that's where the benefit is with everybody building the relationships on the team like this, is that it kind of takes out that, I mean, everybody's just comfortable. It's like contacting a family member and saying, hey, you know, I need some help with this. It takes away the discomfort. So I don't know. Mostly because you guys are just awesome. I'm going to shut that door.
Mark, what's your number one? Have you taken it yet?
No, but I've been told that I will be taking it very soon.
Oh, very nice.
For the record, I said, will you please take this? This is important to me.
Same thing as saying you will take it. Same exact thing.
No. Look here.
I'll let you know as soon as I take it, though. tell you what my number one is.
I think it will be good to do that, to have a place where people can do their, post their top 5 like that. And I think it'll be powerful. And like I said, I don't know what's coming from leadership. We'll hear more. So maybe there's going to be even more opportunity for us to collaborate with that knowledge. So that'll be good. So,
Romy, are you and Mark going to leadership?
no.
Nope. Okay.
I did have one thing that I wrote down, and I actually found it in the John Maxwell book. It's I talk about this all the time, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend getting it. Have it, highlight it, mark it, whatever you need to do. Very, very good stuff in there. But one of the things that he has in there is people are intuitive in their area of strength. So that's one of the things that I thought interesting, is that I took the strengths test, didn't really pay attention to it, but still gravitated to that strength. So we know what our strengths are. We know what we do naturally. We know what we love to do. So it's just a matter of, don't beat yourself up if you are not good at something. Find what you are good at and do that. If there's something that you need to do in your business that you're not good at, and you need to do it, if you need to stretch and get out of your comfort zone and take some steps to do some of that, then by all means do it. But also pull in some help, get some help. Don't expect to be super good at something that you're not interested in, that it doesn't light you up. Do what lights you up, and then leave it at that. That's what I got.
My life coach, who I started working with like a few years ago, she calls it the zone of genius, basically. So do things that are within your zone of genius, and then like delegate all the other stuff. And when I finally got that, it was like, oh my gosh, like I went from silver to platinum like really fast, when I was kind of, I don't want to say stuck, but I was kind of stuck. And it was when I started delegating and finding people that had these strengths that I was so like gung-ho, oh my gosh, I have to get better at this. I have to do this. I have to be better. And it was like, it was horrible, that comparison that you talk about. When I finally let that go and started working within my zone of genius, like magic happened. It was amazing.
Yeah, love that. Awesome. That's very good. So I have a challenge for you before we wrap it up. So just for the next 7 days, be on purpose every day to bless someone, speak into someone's life, something along those lines, with just who you are naturally. If you have to overthink it, don't do it. Just be aware of it and look for an opportunity to bless someone with who you are, just who you are, and do it that way. Try and do it every day, once a day. And I think that you'll probably be amazed at that you're probably doing it already, and probably more than once a day. So, anybody have anything else?
Anything?
Questions, comments?
I just talk too much. I am getting blessed all the time, because I probably have 1 or 2 calls every day from people that want to know more about Iris's protocol. And when they ask for information, there's something in there that always blesses me, hearing their story or something. So I'm already doing that and feeling it. I'm getting blessed more than what I probably am blessing, but it's great.
Awesome. I thought about you. It was about a month ago. We were in Quartzsite, and there was a lady that had a stroke many years ago, and she was very stove up. Her hands were she was very stiff, and I went and got back in the Jeep, and because it was like, I need to talk to her, and it's like, no. So I got back in the Jeep, and then I went back. So I gave her my card, and I said, you know what, I have a friend that is helping people that are stroke thrivers and survivors, and I know that she would love to help you, and all of that spiel.
Mm-hmm.
But you could tell the hope had just gone out of her.
Mm-hmm.
Her belief was not there, and she basically said it's just too late for me.
And I run into that all the time.
Yeah.
So a lot of my phone calls are from wellness advocates who have a stroke survivor or a brain injury or a Parkinson's survivor in their lives. Because the survivors aren't letting go enough to realize that this could help them.
Yeah. And I think that's indicative of what we all do. I think we all come across people, I know we all come across people that have lost hope. That doesn't mean that the hope can't return. And that's our job, is to give them hope. And hopefully we have that opportunity to be able to speak into their lives and to bless them and to spark that hope back. And some people, it's just going to take a little bit more work, but with love, anything can be done. Yes, there is someone was talking about Copaiba with Parkinson's, Tracy. So, all right, Kenzie, will you shut the recording?